Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DeLRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, or hit the bell notification if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game. I'm going to get right into it. The question today comes from a young lady from Miami, Florida. And the question is it true that Snoop Dogg was jealous of Tupac when Tupac was released from jail and he came to DeathRow and started to record? I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here. I've never personally heard Snoop display or verbally exhibit any kind of animosity, jealousy, or anything like that towards Tupac. I've only heard Snoop basically show love and you know, in other instances keep it real about, you know, how him and Tupac had kind of drifted apart right before Tupac was shot and killed in Vegas. But I'm going to go back because, like I said, once again, there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of innuendo, and there's been a lot of people talking about supposedly, you know, how they were around and how Snoop felt and so on and so forth. But like I said, once again, for me, I don't know how it works for you, but for me, until I hear him say something out of his mouth or publicly in regards to him being jealous of Tupac, having any kind of animosity or disdain or any kind of disenchantment with Tupac, until I hear it from his mouth, I'm going to have to say, you know, absolutely positively, no, I don't believe that. And so what I did was a little bit of research because, like I said, you got people out there who trying to get clicks and views, I guess, you know, off of whatever other people have told them in regards to the Tupac Snoop relationship. But so I did a little research, and I remember this actually when it happened, and Snoop had spoke on it. And I'm gonna give it to you like this. And this is him talking about Tupac and the situation he had with his then girlfriend at the time. And Snoop goes on to say, he says, he was a great person, talking about Tupac, not just the rapper. Don't look at the thug in him, the humanitarian work, the songs he wrote for women, the empowerment he gave to black women, the songs he wrote for mothers, just the things that he did that were out of the box, basically. We only want to highlight the hit him up and all the beef he had, but it was things that he did that were so real. For example, I was getting into it with my girlfriend at the time. I just kept getting into it. All of the niggas on Death Row Records was like, you know, fuck that bitch, nigga. You Snoop Dogg. You can have any bitch you want. Then the nigga Tupac came to me and said, man, fuck what they talking about. That girl love you. You need to marry her. I listened to what he said, and I married my wife, and like 20 something years later, we're still married. So it's like, this is the shit that this nigga did that nobody seen. You only seen the ignorant side, but he was a real loving, caring, and compassionate man. If he loved you whole. Now, these are actual words from Snoop Dogg's mouth in regards to a situation that nobody in the public basically was privy to, that he was basically given a demonstration of Tupac's character. I hear no disdain. I hear no jealousy. I hear nothing but giving him props for the work that he left behind, his music, songs about women, and all of those things. So like I said, once again, these are the things that I go to. You know what I mean? I can't go on, you know, what somebody else feels about a certain person, and I have to adopt those feelings because that person feels the same, no matter how, you know, close that you might be to that person. Or, you know, like I said, I'm the type of individual who thinks for himself. I'm going to give you another example of what I'm talking about in regards to sometimes how that can get skewed. Now, we've all heard the story about Snoop being on the radio in New York on the Angie Martinez show, and the East and West Coast thing was kind of bubbling at that time, and I understand Tupac's his feelings at that particular time in regards to, but it was Snoop's I believe the Dog Pound's trailer at that time that Biggie had went on the radio and said something that had got shot up and so on and so forth. So Angie Martinez asked Snoop about his relationship with Biggie and Puffy and Bad Boy, and Snoop basically said they're my homeboys. Now, Tupac had a relationship with Biggie and Puffy at one time before, right? Before it went sour and so on and so forth, and we can get into that side of it. And also, Snoop had a relationship with Biggie and Puffy and them at one time, right? And so, because at the time, Tupac was feeling some kind of way, in which he rightfully should have felt, right? He couldn't expect Snoop at that time, because we're label mates, to adopt and take on the feelings that Tupac had in regards to Biggie and Puffy. You just can't do that. And I'm going to give you another example on how that can go a total different way. We go to Vegas. If you take the Vegas incident, and I tried to tell people, but most people don't want to listen to this, that beef, that situation involving Orlando Anderson was not Tupac's beef. Orlando Anderson didn't snatch Tupac's chain, right? But Tupac took it upon himself in order to show his loyalty, and I respect that for whoever wants to feel any kind of, if you think that that's what you should do at that particular time and not exercise any kind of discretion involving that, right? And saying, hold on, you know what? This ain't my thing, you know what I mean? And not on side of just that this is not my thing, but you're the head artist. You ain't supposed to be fighting nobody, but that's a whole nother story. That you want to take that on and do that, and it costs you your life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's better to exercise restraint and think for yourself. So I think that's what Snoop was doing at that particular time. He was thinking for himself. He was saying basically, I'm not in beef with these guys. I'm not at odds with these guys. They cool with me, And because Tupac was at beef with those guys, doesn't mean Snoop had to adopt that. You understand what I'm saying? And so I get it. This is the music industry. People are trying to adapt this street thing, and Snoop actually comes from that culture. You understand what I'm saying? Tupac wasn't really, truly, honestly, at that particular time that I had known, from when I had known him, he wasn't with no gang. From the time that I had known him, you know what I mean? Whatever he had did and, graduated into or, signed up for after that was his business. But like I said, I do know for a fact that Snoop from that life. You understand what I'm saying? And Tupac wasn't. So the discretion that Snoop was using at that time was the proper one. I'm only going to have beef and get into something if need be. Other than that, I'm trying to move effectively and get this money and take care of my family. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people have gotten that mixed up and saying, well, Snoop should have thought for himself, and which he did. You know what I mean? Tupac at that time in Vegas should have thought for himself at that time, which he didn't. You understand what I'm saying? And thinking like, you know what? I'm not here to be, fighting nobody and getting to all. That's not my thing. I'm here to do music, complete this contract and be done with it. Right? And so once again, I go back to the fact that the relationship that Tupac and Snoop had was a great relationship. Let's go to two of America's Most Wanted, if you want to really truly delve into what that was. Now, most people say, when Tupac was in jail and Snoop had came out and spoke to the fact that he was, he had told Suge, to get Tupac out and so on and so forth. Most people, said that that Snoop was lying. Like, why would Snoop have to lie? He's Snoop. You know what I mean? So people put these little their thoughts on other people in regards to how they're feeling, instead of what the person who actually lived it and was there to live it said. you know, and it's been said by more people than not that Snoop was one of the people who, being the biggest artist on Death Row at that time, you know, basically, you know, him and Suge talk, and he was like, yeah, you know, basically living, you know, giving him a nod. Wasn't up to Suge at that time, as we know now from the bigger picture of things, but Snoop was like, okay with that. So now let's do two of America's Most Wanted. So if he wasn't feeling that way, or if he was feeling some kind of animosity towards Tupac, you know, Snoop lyrics and that song was basically Free Tupac. That's all that's on the niggas' mind. Because at the same time, it seems they're trying to take mine. Now, this is when Tupac is out of jail. So if he's saying that Free Tupac is one of the things that was on his mind at that particular time, you don't think that he felt that way in action and talking to Suge or expressing his feelings as, you know what, that would be a great combination. Boy, that'd be a great 1-2 punch. You understand what I'm saying? So once again, the rhetoric and the rumors and the speculation just don't add up to the facts. You have to understand that. And so that's the reason why I say what I say in regards to, you know, when the sister from Miami, Florida, you know, asked that question, I got to go and do the research. I got to see, you know, listen to the interviews, you know, hear out what it is. And like I say, and just cut straight down the middle. Not on Snoop's side, not on Tupac's side. You know what I mean? Like I said, I knew Tupac. I hung out with Tupac more than I hung out with Snoop. You know what I mean? You know, I met Snoop one time, you know, personally, you know, a couple other times, like in the club or whatever. But like one time personally, like, you know, we had a little chance to chit chat and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? But nothing like, you know, where I'm choosing sides. It's not even about choosing sides. It's about the facts. And like I said, I've only heard Snoop talk about Tupac in a positive manner after his death, in a positive manner before Tupac passed. And once again, like I said, you know, the music, the interviews and the situation, I would think more importantly, when Snoop was having problems with his girlfriend at the time, you know, the information that Tupac gave him. When everybody else at Death Row, as Snoop was saying, was giving him the wrong information in regards to his girlfriend. And they thinking about, you know, the celebrity Snoop Dogg and not Calvin Broadus, the man, the father. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a difference. You got to separate those two. And so once again, to the young lady from Miami, Florida, no, I really, truly, honestly don't think that Snoop felt any kind of animosity towards Tupac at all. I think it came to a separation of you know, and even Tupac basically said this, you know, we might not be friends and see eye to eye, but I don't want you to stop winning, but you know, we just can't be whatever. And Snoop expressed that much in regards to when Tupac started dissing Dre. You know what I mean? Here's the guy, you know, and when you talking about, you know, not choosing sides, but you know, being loyal to somebody who was good to you. And we're not talking about fighting. We're talking about helping catapult your career, helping giving you a lane to feed your family. And your homeboy being Warren G, taking the demo to Dre and so on and so forth. You riding with the people who rode with you at that time, not involving any kind of violence or nonsense, but involving positive activities, right? And trying to move in the right direction from the life, you know, the gang life and the life that you had known up until that point. And you've seen what happened. Snoop getting money, Dre getting money, Warren getting money, and so on and so forth. And like I said, so I don't think, you know, that there was any kind of animosity, jealousy at all. And I surely do know that they wish that Tupac was still here. You know, Warren G worked with Tupac, Dr. Dre worked with Tupac, Snoop worked with Tupac, you know what I mean? And if they would have it any other kind of way, they would wish that brother was still here, as I do. You know what I mean? So like I said, I just want to, you know, give you the facts around that, man. And you can free to do your own research, you know, and like I said, you know, people can say whatever they want, but the proof is in the pudding. And the words that I showed you in that interview right there, that tell me everything that Snoop actually felt about Tupac. That poignant moment, you know, once again, when he was having a situation involving his then girlfriend at that time, you know what I mean? The information that Tupac gave him, you know what I mean? On side of all of the naysayers and the negative information that he was receiving at that particular time. Your boy DeLRAY, straight game.